Today we are back at the Dealers Auto Auction of the Rockies and back with our good friend Brendan to bring a new series where Brendan is going to use actually his own money, and he's kind enough to let us film with him, to buy some very inexpensive enthusiast cars.
Yeah, a lot of you used to ask me about my car flipping, and seemed pretty interested in it, and I'm gonna give you a deep dive in exactly what it is that I do here at the auction when I buy a car, fix a car, and then sell it for hopefully a profit.
But Brendan, look at the first car we're considering.
Yeah, this is the first one. Now, let's just go out and say my budget is very small because I don't have a lot of money. I'm trying to get something for $3,000 or less. And this is, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna make my budget because these are kind of a collector item now. This is the Dodge Neon SRT4.
2.4 liter turbo 4-cylinder, and this being an 04, I think it's got about 230 horsepower.
Ooh, that sounds like nothing these days.
Pretty sporty for back in the day though.
Let's fire it up and see how it runs. I don't know that these are the factory seats.
Not sure if it's a factory exhaust either. Give it a rev. This seems like potentially a decent option. It's got pretty good paint, pretty nice interior. If this falls within budget, yeah, could be a great buy. Let's take it on the track.
All right, well, I do like this nice, what is this, like a silver ball shift knob here?
Yeah, it looks sweet.
5-speed.
Apparently.
Only 125,000 miles, which for a car from 2004 is not a lot.
This is not the cleanest example of an SRT4 that exists anywhere.
Well, that helps me get closer to my budget. Because if it's super nice, it's going to go for way more than I can afford. But let's see how many of those 230 horsepower it's still got.
Oh, wheel spin!
Lots of wheel spin.
Hey, I'm not mad at that.
No, that's actually pretty dang nice. I like that a lot. So I'd say this is definitely a solid contender. I would be willing to max out my budget in order to get this at $3,000. But, you know, if I just keep one car on my list, I'm gonna have a hard time getting it. So let's get a few more options going. Now, Case, normally I would not walk but run to a Taurus SHO, but this one's a little bit on the rough side. So let's call this my backup.
Look at it.
Yeah, I mean,
the paint's bad. We've got a little rust on the other corner.
Yeah, so you've got clear coat fail here. We did have to jump it, so it does need a battery. It's got a huge spot where the paint is completely fallen off.
It's got a flat tire.
Flat tire, which we'll drive it around a little bit, but I don't want to, you know.
Probably won't take it on the test track.
Yeah, probably won't take it on the test track to pull out those full 220 Yamaha horsepower.
I think it qualifies as an enthusiast car.
I would say so. Yeah, but it's just having that SHO badge makes it qualify. It's certainly not the most desirable spec or condition, but it's an option. I want to make sure that the transmission on this doesn't slip.
Yeah.
So the poor condition on the interior continues. And it also looks like somebody got into a knife fight in the back seat.
I would say on the plus side, if you can't afford this, I'm not sure you can afford a car. Right?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an under $500 car here at the auction. Now, it's got 156,000 miles on it. I hope I don't end up with this because this is going to be a decent amount of work to make it sellable. Maybe not leave it to just these options. Let's get at least one or two more. These, I think, get a really bad reputation, but these E46s, I think, are actually really darn good and really entertaining to drive.
I've got to say, this is probably going to be the nicest car that we look at today.
It just might be.
The paint is pretty good. The interior is pretty nice. Also, an E46 wagon is cool.
Just being a wagon in itself, I think, makes it kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it even comes with a whole extra set of tires there in the back.
Exactly.
Now, this one I did see a service engine soon light, so I'm gonna quickly scan that code. But while that connects, this interior is in pretty decent shape. I mean, look, the headliner's really nice. It's got a sunroof, it's got heated seats.
Yeah.
It's got a nice looking factory radio. Now, what I'm seeing is a secondary air injection system, bank 1, as well as bank 2, and a coolant thermostat.
Okay.
So it could be relatively simple fixes.
I don't know, it is in pretty good shape, so it might get bit up a bit, but it would be sweet if you end up with this, because this is not the kind of used car that's going to give you some, to this point, unnamed disease. Like some of the other cars that we've been in here.
Exactly. Yeah, this one's in relatively good shape, relatively clean on the inside. It seems to drive pretty nice. We're coming up to the test track here to see if it shifts through at least most of its gears. And yeah, I kind of like it. Now, I've had one of these before. I had a 330 Ci, a 2004. It's only 1 year newer than this. But, so I've always kind of had a soft spot for them.
Oh, it sounds good.
That straight six from BMW.
Yeah.
It shifts smooth. The engine just runs great. I think this is a really sweet buy. And I looked at values on this. Now, in rough condition, this is worth about $1,600, and in good condition, this is worth about $2,500. So, I do think this will fall well within my $3,000 budget, and I think that I would want to stay in the $2,000 to $2,500 range if I were to buy it.
So now, after having had a chance to shop around a few cars at the auction and drive all of them, we've gotten to see them all go across the block, and starting with the Dodge Neon. This one was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, now, I had mentioned I had a budget of, I was willing to spend up to $3,000, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll spend my whole budget to get this Neon SRT4 because it was that cool of a car.
And it is cool.
And I wasn't even close. This thing bid up to, and didn't even sell for this, it bid up to $6,250.
Which is an insane amount of money. Look, well, Dodge Neons are cool. Let's say that. First things first.
Neon SRT4s are cool.
That specific Neon is cool.
Yes, the Neon SRT4s are cool.
But over $6,000 doesn't, I would figure, doesn't leave anybody really any room to make profit on it. And also, there's a lot of cars you could buy for that money.
Yeah, I mean, this is something you have to keep in mind. This is a wholesale auction. These are dealers that are buying the car, trying to make a profit on it. So it's not like you're going out there on Facebook Marketplace, buying a car for $6,250 and able to keep it for yourself. You're paying auction fees, and then you're trying to sell it for a profit. So some dealers trying to sell this car for $10,000, $12,000, $13,000. This is a Neon SRT4 that's not in perfect shape, right? It's not a pristine example. And the thing that shocked me the most is directly before that car was a C6 Corvette that seemed to run pretty fine now. I didn't drive it. It was a little bit higher miles, but still under 100,000 miles, and that only bid up to $7,000.
Call me crazy, but I'd rather have the Corvette.
Yeah, I think so too.
So the Neon, immediately off the table.
Yeah, I wasn't even close.
Now for the Ford Taurus, the Petri dish that we got to drive. Man, was that rough. And I guess other people thought so as well.
Yeah, so I slept on that one a little bit. I thought about it. I processed it. I had a little bit of a nightmare about owning that car. And I decided in the morning, I am not going to buy this car no matter what price it sells for. Because here's the thing you have to think about is at an auction, the lowest they will accept is $400 because that's basically scrap value for a vehicle. That's what, a junkyard would pay for a vehicle. But then you have auction fees on top of it. So I would be paying minimum, no matter what the bid was, even if I bought it for that $400, close to $1,000 for it. And that's just not worth it to me. So I was out on that Taurus SHO. As cool as SHOs are, that one was just too far gone for me. And
yeah, that one was not cool.
Many dealers agreed with me. No one bid on it.
Now, finally, for the car that you actually ended up with, this is the BMW wagon.
Yeah, and it may be the one that you guys are least excited about, but here's some things that I found out that I thought were pretty cool. It's actually a one-owner vehicle.
Which is always good.
Yeah, it was donated here to Colorado Public Radio by an attorney based out of Boulder. So it had always been in Colorado its whole life. It was really well cared for. And I'm pretty excited that I got it for $1,700, which I think is a steal of a deal for a low mileage, really nice example of an all-wheel drive wagon.
Yeah, a car that's well taken care of, not exceedingly high mileage, interior is in good condition, the paint and bodywork is in good condition, $1,700, and it's all-wheel drive as well. So it even works through all the seasons that we get here in Colorado. Look, I don't buy nearly as many cars as you, but $1,700 to me, plus of course some auction fees, sounds like an impeccable deal.
It was a good deal. I was willing to spend up to $2,000 on it, but I got it for a little bit under my budget, and I think this one's going to turn a good profit for me. But first, we got to fix it up.
Yeah, and we got to see how it drives above 20 miles an hour.
Right? I know it's not the most exciting car that was on my list, but it was a good deal, which is important in this case because I am looking to make a profit on these vehicles.
Oh, you got some snow tires.
Set of snow tires sitting here in the back.
It's got a couple tiny little dings and things on it, but the paint's in good shape. No major body damage. We'll probably, I'm sure you'll end up throwing another BMW badge on there.
Yeah, this is pretty common for the glue to wear off and these emblems to either get stolen or fall off, but I think you were mentioning earlier it's got its kidneys still, right?
Yeah, no one stole your kidneys, so you got both your kidneys. And yeah, I would say this car could probably use a little buff on the headlights.
Yeah, these headlights aren't great, but I think they'll buff out and be okay.
Totally.
Or at least come back a little bit better than they currently are. And I do think I can see underneath here, once you get rid of all this dirt, this paint is going to look really nice and really sharp. It's kind of that nice, deep, dark blue that they had back then. I think it's a good color combo with the gray seats. It seems to drive pretty good. It's got decent acceleration. I mean, I'm not on the highway yet, but it is shifting through all the gears. Overall, these straight sixes that were put in these are actually not too bad when you compare them to some of the BMWs that came after it. All right, getting up out on the highway here. Now, this is just a 325, so these only have maybe, I think they're somewhere around 190 to 200 horsepower. Not super powerful, but because this is a BMW and it has the straight six, it's very smooth, honestly. This runs great. It's pretty quiet. My dad, he bought a 330 Ci 6-speed manual. Now, he actually passed in 2018 and handed it down to me, and I owned it for about 4 years or so. Getting back in this is kind of like getting back into a nice old comfy friend that I miss. This one's not as cool as my dad's was, but it's still really nice. All right, guys, so it's been about a week and I'm back here at my mechanic's garage where he's got this thing running pretty good. And now Bobby, go over what all was needed on this. It came in because it had a check engine light. It actually ran pretty good, but what was going on with it?
Yeah, so we hooked the scan tool up to it. We found a couple different codes. One for a thermostat, which we changed. This guy was stuck closed, actually, not allowing the coolant to flow through and not letting the engine heat up properly like it's supposed to, therefore causing the engine not to run correctly. The engine thinks it's actually colder than what it really is, so it throws more fuel in to try to warm the car up, which in turn burns more fuel, bad fuel mileage. Okay. We also had another code in there for an evap system leak. It wasn't actually part of the evap system. It was actually a vacuum hose that had just deteriorated over time and was collapsed, not allowing any airflow through it. So we replaced the air hose along with this plug right here that was cracked and stuff, allowing vacuum to be pulled in through there and not holding the vacuum like the engine should. So we replaced all those items, cleared the codes, took the car for a test drive. Everything turned out good. Passed all the tests that we put it through. No issues.
Sweet. So it's back to running the way that it should. And
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So minor issues. Thankfully, I think I dodged a bullet here buying an old BMW with a check engine light. Obviously, anything can go wrong, but I think I got lucky with this one.
Yep.
Next step, let's get it cleaned up.
Now, Brendan, you finally got the car back from the mechanic. It's been detailed. It's in really the best shape that we've seen it in. And now we get to take it for a drive.
Absolutely, yeah. I've gone through this thing top to bottom, made sure that everything is running perfectly on it. It's all cleaned up. Even the headlights are nice and polished now, so it's ready for our nice drive.
Yeah, and are you taking it? Or am I?
I think I'm gonna have you drive it. I've put a couple 100 miles on it myself. I wanna get your impressions on how this drives.
I was hoping you would say that, but before we take this out on the road, we've got to do something only a station wagon can do. As you know, this is Jeff. It's one of my favorite coworkers, and whenever possible, we like to make sure we don't leave him out. But you can't always fit him in his beloved chair in every vehicle that we test.
Sure, but Well, I think we could fit him in his chair in the back of this BMW.
I think we give that a shot.
All right, let's do it. Oh, you got the seats there. I was separating the whole pull thing here.
Yeah,
we could maybe even take that out too. I wonder what's under this. I've never actually even looked. Oh, look at that. Is that full size?
Oh yeah, you got a nice spare, and actually the tire looks in good shape. Look at this, you still got your 10 mil, Brendan.
Hey.
That's how you know that this car has been well looked after, is somebody kept track of their 10 mil. If we can get this chair in, Jeff might have to slouch a little bit.
You might have to lay on his side, because I think the chair's probably going to have to... Oh my gosh, you're actually fitting it in that way.
Oh, well, I think it might actually go.
Wow.
Look at that.
I don't know that Jeff will fit in there. I mean, if he was torso-less, maybe, but I don't think he's gonna fit in this chair.
I'll tell you what, Jeff is not too worried about how this looks from the outside. Jeff feels no embarrassment for all the emotions that he does have.
Wait a second, I gotta see this now. Is he gonna be... So Jeff is now mooning everyone behind us.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I think is actually pretty perfect.
Of course, it would be really cool if this car had 3 pedals. These cars were, of course, meant to be useful. They were meant to haul things, haul people.
And these E46s, I think, were the last gen that were truly, truly special when it came to handling characteristics. And I think you had mentioned off camera before feeling like a slab of granite, right?
It is, yeah. These classic German cars, even going back in, this car's not that old, but even going back past the era that this car comes from, they have that slab of granite, really sure-footed, solid feeling. They feel like they're built like a bank vault. And one thing that I love about this, it's a pretty muted sound from the inline 6, but you still have that nice quality of the inline 6 when you rev it out. It's very smooth and it's very engaging. Yeah, and you managed to find a really good example, because we're at 136,000 miles on this car, which I think makes it a deal. And these naturally aspirated inline 6s too, definitely, I would say, with that additional simplicity versus something turbo, twin turbo, you're gonna probably see better longevity out of it. It still feels like a car that is designed to be able to handle pretty flat, so not a lot of body roll here. The steering also has a really nice weight to it. It's not an over boosted steering that doesn't let you feel anything. This steering wheel actually communicates what the front end of the car is doing, which is something that in a lot of modern cars is gone. One of the cool things about this particular car is that it still has the toolkit, and it still has
the BMW audiophile demonstration disc.
some smooth jazz.
It's like a country jazz. They all kind of have that twangy sound. Maybe
Yeah,
this is
is
the American version.
Oh, listen to the bass, Brent. Country, that's all they need.
That's what they need. They need some twangy, good old guitar.
So we now know what BMW thinks of Americans in our music taste. Basically that we only listen to country music, which, despite your beard, you actually don't listen to country. I do.
No, that's one of the few things I don't listen to as far as music goes. But even though, sure, this isn't an M3, this isn't a manual transmission, I think it's still an interesting car, and it's been pretty nice to have this for, I don't know, what, about 3-4 weeks that I've had it now, and being able to put a couple hundred miles on it.
Yeah.
And then to sell it to someone knowing that I'm selling them a good quality vehicle and move on to something else.
So now it's time to make a listing and find a buyer.
Perhaps not surprisingly, once you put this car up on the market, it actually sold really quickly.
Yeah, I had a lot of interest in this car immediately. I had listed it at 6 p.m. One night, and it sold by 6:30 p.m. the following night, basically just barely over 24 hours after I had listed it for sale. It was gone, and I had backup offers. Maybe some of you would think that I would have listed it for too much at $5,900, asking a lot for an old BMW wagon that was kind of the base model.
But in good shape.
But yeah, the buyers didn't seem to think so, and that's why they were lining up and beating down my door to get this thing. And that is why I sold it for full asking price of $5,900. The buyer didn't even attempt to negotiate with me on that price and just paid the full asking, because he knew if I didn't take his offer, I had 3 other people waiting in the wings to buy it.
So what that means is that now we've got to go through and calculate up all the expenses because there wasn't too much. It didn't need any major repairs like we saw, but things still add up. The car had to get detailed. So let's go line item for line item. What all did we have to pay for, or what all did you have to pay for to get this car ready to sell?
So first and foremost, to buy it at the auction, it was $1,700, and that was my winning bid. And now the auction does have fees, and those fees were $295. And not only that, the dealer that I work with to help me buy these cars at the auction charges me a processing fee of $250. Now we get into some of the repairs. So those are just the initial purchases. Now, as far as the repairs go, I had to replace that thermostat as well as some of the vacuum hoses were bad on it. And that totaled $663.65. I also ordered a little hood emblem for $30 online just to finish out the nice
Class it up.
Yeah, exactly. It was
nice.
it was missing its BMW hood emblem, and I thought that would be a nice touch to at least bring it back to that. And then I think the best money that I spent on the whole thing was the detail. It was $140, and I think I easily got an extra $1,000 just from that detail alone because he polished up the headlights, making them look nice.
Yeah.
Now that brings the total that I own this car to $3,078.65. So I sold it for $5,900, and that gives me a profit of $2,821.35. But Case, that's not the end of the story. That's not the end of the story, unfortunately. Now, the buyer called me the next day, and he said, this thing has an oil leak. It left 2 drops on my driveway over the night. He was pissed, and he wanted to return the car. And I said, tell you what, bring the car back to me. Let me take a look at it. Let's see what we can do. I looked at it, confirmed it was an oil leak. And now here's the thing that I need to learn from this. My mechanic asked if I wanted to go through a full inspection of the vehicle, and I just said, I don't think that's necessary on this car.
Because the car drives well.
Yeah, let's just fix the check engine light on it, which, what I did was necessary to fix the check engine light. I think moving forward, I'm going to have him do a full pre-purchase inspection, so that way I can at least tell them, even if I choose not to fix all the problems with the car, hey, I know it has this oil leak, or I know it needs this bushing or whatnot. I wanted to make it right because this guy did pay full asking price. I did help cover the cost of the repairs, which, believe it or not, was $1,200. On an oil pan gasket.
Because this is the funny thing about these BMWs in all-wheel drive configuration is that the drive shaft, one of the half shafts, actually goes through the oil pan, which makes it a much, much more complicated job. Very German of them.
He wanted me to cover the whole thing, and we kind of met at me paying $800 back to him. So that did bring my profit down quite a bit to $2,021.35. But I feel good about it. I think the customer that purchased the vehicle and got it repaired and has a pretty much perfect running BMW now is pretty happy with his purchase because he essentially bought it for $5,100, which I think is a good deal for that car.
The fact that you were able to buy it, own it, and sell it while also making a profit just shows that it is possible.
Even on a BMW.
Even on
a BMW, I can buy a car, fix it up, and sell it for profit, and I got to drive it around for a month. Case got to enjoy it. You all got to enjoy it on camera as well. And I think that that's something that's kind of fun to do as an enthusiast because it gets you to own a lot of different cars you normally wouldn't get to own. And if you guys like this video, and if enough of you watch it, maybe we'll try this again, and I'll find another cool car at the auction that we can flip and see if we make a profit, or maybe I'll lose my butt on the next one.
Absolutely. And we owe Brendan a huge thanks because this is all stuff that he did completely on his own time and on his own dime. And he was nice enough to let us film it. So drop Brendan a thanks down in the comments below. So it was a really cool video series to see this car from start to finish and how nice of a vehicle it ended up being. And even making a profit, like you said, on owning a BMW. Who would have thought?
Yeah, well, and I sure enjoyed it. And I hope all of you did enjoy it as well. Please share this video, give it a like, and let me know some comments down below what you think of this video and if I should keep doing it in the future. Take care, guys.